Cheers to you. Welcome to my channel. All good things and all good time, where it is always a good day to be alive. This is the 50th episode of the God Awful News, the God Awful Truth News, Breaking Daily News Show. And as you can see, this video is represented by a patriotic, strong superhero donkey with a blue trucker's hat that says cool, carrying a sign that says defend the Constitution in front of the Capitol, surrounded by protesters with hands off signs. That is what I asked AI to do, and that's what it gave me. It's just this new funny thing I discovered. I'm usually a little slow. I'm slow to discover stuff. I just discovered that if I put toilet paper over the microphone, it takes away that muffle sound. I've been listening to that muffle sound for a really long time on a lot of videos. Oh, that's a big one. And then I also figured out, like, when I do the protest this weekend, I gotta make sure I mute it when I get near any music, right? So expect that in the protest video coming this weekend. That'll be cool, and then that way it won't get copyrighted. See, when you're cruising around on a live stream and you encounter any music, you get copyrighted, and it's like, it's not my fault. It's just in the world, you know. So, all right, we're 2 minutes in. Nobody watching yet, but that's okay. I got faith. Good things are coming. These videos are getting more views than previous. It's been increasing, the number of views. And with that, I'm almost superstitious. I want to experiment outside of what I've been doing, but I've been doing vertical. And I wonder if that might be the contributing factor that's increased the number of views so much. Or is it the cartoon superhero on the cover? Is it the fact that it's my 50th episode? I don't know, but viewership just went from 150 to 350 to 2,000. So we'll see if that happens again. Got a bunch of really bad news, but before we get into the bad news, I have some news that isn't entirely bad. It's kind of personal. So I've been trying to book a theater to do a 1 hour, 1.5 hour comedy special called Finding My Marbles, Life After Losing Everything, as I am a survivor of the Lahaina fire. And so I just got a call from a theater owner, and she said, I haven't forgotten you. I got your application, and as soon as I have time, I'll call you. And man, it's a beautiful little theater, super cheap to rent, holds 110 people. I'm gonna sell that shit out so easy. But they even have a guy that'll film it professionally. So I'm gonna do my shows, film it professionally, and then I'll have this product, which will be hella cool. And then I'm gonna do more shows there. But then I'm gonna scale it up to the biggest theaters I can here on Maui and try to create a comedy career right here on Maui. Anyway, and then there's more personal stuff, but I'll get to that later. Let's get into the god-awful news. Hello, one person. Thanks for watching. It's funny, it's a slow start, but you never know. So if I see 20 people watching, which is a big deal, that means about 1,000 people are gonna see it, which is interesting, isn't it? All right, so the god-awful news, shall we get to it? Have you heard all the news? Because I'm about to go through it. First of all, Saturday Night Live had this great quote. This is a better Saturday Night Live than usual. I haven't even seen much of the skits, but the opening was really, really good. And the guy impersonating Trump said, can a country go out of business? We're gonna find out. And I thought that was pretty funny. All right, well, so our ports are empty. Right at the time that we've capitulated or made some sort of agreement with China. It's 10%, I think it's 10% on our goods going that way and 30% on their goods coming this way, or something like that. But down from 145% and 104% or 80 anyway. So that's interesting. At the same time as the ports are empty, we've made this deal with China, which drove the stock market up, which, you know, hard to understand why the stock market would be going up. Just doesn't make sense. Of course, women's rights have just been assaulted and are under attack. Roe being turned over is a bummer. And that's an ongoing thing. They're trying to take away women's right to vote. We all know that the SAVE Act is not a voter integrity bill. It's a voter suppression bill, right? The attack on the trans community continues. Of course, they just abruptly banned people who are in the trans community who are willing to die for our country. So bunch of people in the military are just getting fired and discharged for really no good reason. The Pope, interestingly, might have a little bit of a shady past. I guess he didn't do enough to shed light on the abuses within the church back in the day. I guess that's interesting. But generally well liked other than that. And it was a surprise to get an American Pope. Of course, Trump was disappointed because he wanted to be the Pope. Hey, I'm so glad to have you here. Thanks for watching. My two people who got to write jokes when the world is this funny. All right. But yeah, so the Pope, that's interesting. But the Pope doesn't like, the Pope likes the ideas of, feeding the poor and helping the elderly and children and orphans and stopping wars. And so, he's at odds. Republicans don't like him. They tried to bribe the Vatican with billion-dollar bribes to try to get some kind of MAGA Pope. That's just weird. Republicans are so weird. All right. What else? Of course, there's this huge bribe, the $400 million plane. And that might be lowballing it. So that's interesting. That Trump just went to the Middle East to try to grift as much money as he can as the president. He's trying to tapping into the sovereign wealth funds of Saudi Arabia, UAE, United Arab Emirates, and Qatar, which is apparently the shadiest of them all, but they're all very shady. He's getting money from Live Golf. It's a huge grift. He's got the executive club, $500,000 to join. He's got the $5 million to have dinner with Trump at Mar-a-Lago. Oh my God, and the crypto scam, getting a transaction of $2 billion using his meme coin, which gives him $100 million in processing fees. The grift is so huge, and of course, they were really worried about Hunter Biden's. He made $50,000 a month being on the board of Burisma. Oh my God. And he paid his taxes late. Trump's never paid his taxes, and he is the crime family of all crime families. Anyway, you're not supposed to take bribes. That's against the Constitution, but the Constitution doesn't seem to exist much anymore. All right. So, and then a $5.5 billion project in Qatar. All these hotel projects too going on now while he's president. His sons are just going around and taking up all the money in order to influence, right? And to gain favor. So Pam Bondi, in her past, she didn't disclose this when she was being interviewed, but she worked for Qatar, the most corrupt country in the world, lobbying on their behalf, right? Man, she is dumb and dirty in so many ways. Not to mention her conscience after doing all this harm to so many people. Of course, Republicans, deplorable Republicans, have taken help from the 9/11 victims, right? That Everett John Stewart worked so hard to get those guys just medical care. And yeah, they took that away. So they're trying to reverse that because, the optics aren't very good on that one. They're hurting so many people in so many ways. It's just mind-boggling. The Pope says no to war. If you didn't see it, he says no to war. It's like we have a World War III in a couple different places right now, he said, which is pretty intense. But yeah, the outright slaughter of these Palestinians is breaking the hearts and minds of many. I love these ladies, these I've had it ladies that complain. You know what I mean? They complain like for, oh, you know what I'm going to do? I want to put this up on my TV screen. That's what I'm going to do. Pardon me real quick here. This might help spark out. Oh, there we go. There we go. Now there's two watching. And let's see. I can do that one more time. I wonder if it'll show up. Maybe it'll show me if it's accurate or not, right? All right, yeah, two, and then all right, yeah, it shows up. Cool. So back to the terrible news. I'm sorry the news is so terrible. It doesn't have to be, shouldn't have to be. Cheers to you. All right, now I'm going to switch to an adult beverage. I'm drinking some of this passion fruit cider, Lilikoi cider, made in Hawaii. No tariffs on that. All right. So, back on it. So the two kinds of content that do drive me a little bit crazy is stupid Joe Rogan content. People talking about what he said about what someone said or did. Boy, is that a waste of time like I've never seen before. It's annoying as all hell. And then the AI content. I see it all the time. There's all these YouTube channels from India, like CNN 18, CNBC 18. It's all just these India like YouTube channels that just throw up content to try to spark outrage either side or put up live views, which aren't live views. They're just circulating freaking garbage. I've even seen that stuff used and referenced on like major news programs. But then also all the AI voices and all the ads. Why don't people just use a real person? It'd be way better if they just used a real person, Of course, Newark Airport has had more bad events, if you don't know this. So basically, don't fly in and out of Newark. If you're planning a trip, buy your tickets somewhere else and still cross your fingers. It seems a little scary right now to fly. I'm much less inclined to want to fly. Or now that the brown shirt boot thugs are teaming up with Highway Patrol in Tennessee and other places, the roads don't seem safe. You know what I mean? All right. 9 people. Holy shit. All right. Things sure just changed. Okay. Love you guys. What else? So yeah, the trade war, 30% tariffs and 10% tariffs with China. We don't need to be in a trade war. It's not a smart thing to do. One of these guys from the Lincoln Project was talking about how corrupt these countries are, and it's hard to tell if Qatar or UAE are the most corrupt. Not to mention Saudi Arabia, Live Golf, Jamal Khashoggi, all the 9/11 perpetrators were from Saudi Arabia. Anyway, so the last American citizen was just freed that was in captivity. There are about 20 left, and his name is Alexander, and he's been freed, and he looked pretty good compared to the look of these starving Palestinians right now. Like 100,000 children right now are starving to death in Palestine, and Israel has done everything it can to make sure all aid has been cut off. They can't get food, water, fuel, electricity, anything, and they're bombing their water infrastructure and their food distribution centers and their hospitals, and they've killed over 220 journalists. It's brutal, and daily now, just massive numbers of children are dying of starvation. I just don't see how anyone will ever see Israel the same again, right? And I've been trying to understand this term Zionist. You know, what does it mean to be a Zionist? And I'm getting a clue, but it's basically on behalf of the Israeli state, you know, having a mindset of imperialism. And you could be a Christian Zionist or a Jewish Zionist, so long as you want to, you know, destroy, on behalf of the Israeli government, destroy, you know, the Palestinian people and their culture, and kill as many as possible to get in your way, and just be assholes, just like Trump wants to be. Netanyahu is the perfect example, I think, from what I understand. A Zionist that's what he is. Interesting, right? And of course, there's this massive deception campaign going on, saying that if you're against genocide, that you're for terrorism, and no one believes it or buys it. It's just, they keep floating this stuff, and then you know, the hard right Nazi Jews use this as calling, oh, we're victims. We're victims of anti-Semitism because people are saying they're against genocide. No, you're not. Oh, it's just like our Republicans, victims of everything. It's always, it's poor them. Anyway, so yeah, last American citizen's been freed. It's funny, if you've been watching this trailer for this new Brad Pitt movie, you know what he is? He's the new old man, handsome guy, the new Robert Redford, or the new Paul Newman, because he's now, you know, he's like me. He's old man-ish, and he's a handsome fella like Robert Redford when he was, you know, in his 50s and 60s, making those movies, you know, out there with the Mustangs, the wild horses. So yeah, they just keep trying to push this budget through that's going to just destroy, take all the money it can from children's lunches, medical care for the poor and the elderly and the disabled, and Social Security, all to give tax cuts to the rich. And they keep acting like, oh, what we need are these tax cuts to make our economy strong. And no, nobody wants these tax cuts that aren't going to make our economy strong. They're going to make our people weak. They're going to make the super rich, super richer. And meanwhile, taxes are going to be the same, or they're going up for all the blue-collar people. I can't believe blue-collar people could ever identify with the Republican Party. It makes no sense. Oh, cheers to you. Cheers to you. It is painful watching our country get destroyed by these Republicans, destroying the Constitution, picking people up. And it seems as though they're hiring. I can't wait to hear all the details, because someone's working on that right now, I promise you. The details of all the white supremacist, Nazi, Proud Boys, Northern Idahoans, Eastern Texans that they're hiring. People with criminal, I bet there's more people picking up innocent immigrants that have criminal records than any of them that, right? I bet it's like 80% of the people they've just hired to pick up people guilty of working 60 hours a week, getting no benefits, you know, working at the dairy, bringing you your milk, working at the farm, bringing you raspberries, working at the ranch, bringing you your beef, working at the meat processing center, you know, bringing you your chicken, right? These are the people that are now the criminals because they just live here, right? And that is stupid. It's going to cost us a lot more money at the grocery store. We haven't seen it yet. I mean, and now that the conditions are so dire, this one family recently, they took this young family, they deported the mother, they kidnapped the child that now has no parents, and it took the father and sent it to El Salvador to a death camp, right? The death cult Republican Party just sent this innocent kid. So every one of those kids is innocent. They performatively just use them as a sacrificial lambs. They sacrificed 300 young men just for shits and giggles, and now they're going to sacrifice people, send them to Libya, Angola, freaking, what's that place where the slaughter was? Anyway, yeah, that's where, yeah, because that sounds even worse, right? If you really want to terrify people. So, shit, what are you going to do if that's you? And you think that that could happen to you? Your kid, you lose your kid, your wife, you're going to do whatever it takes. I mean, I don't know if you've ever watched those videos of people making homes in the ground, in the woods. But that's got to seem really appealing to a lot of people right now. You know, if you can't get out, if you got no place to go, if you just don't want to be sent off to a death camp, I mean, you would do a lot, I think, to try to avoid that. Or any friend you have could harbor you in their house. Of course, they're going after those people, right? They want to go after anybody that helps protect innocent people from being tortured. They're separated from their children, their wives, their families, forever, right? Just freaking Nazi shit. It's straight up, we live in Nazi America right now, and it is heartbreaking to any real American patriots, people who love this country. God damn, my family has been here 12 generations. My family invaded in 1620 on the Mayflower. They were invaders, they were immigrants, right? They came for a better life. And now suddenly what? Oh, all the people that are here are too good for the next people that want to come here too? That want to work their ass off? People that commit half as much crime as me and you? It's so special. All right, Mayor Baraka held for 5 hours. They arrested a mayor. They're threatening to arrest Congress people because they're despicable, Confederate, insurrectionist traitors. It's so sad. Like, who are these pieces of shit? And I love it. Kyle Kalinske loves to call attention to how these people need to be locked up. These people doing the locking up are all committing, obviously, egregious offenses against their oath to the Constitution. It's obvious, right? Or they've just never read it. And which I'm going to do soon. It's going to be boring as hell. I'm just going to read it. I'm not sure if I should put the camera on myself or just the book, but I'm going to read the whole Constitution out loud and make, what is this? What is this? Oh, I got to call you back, Kim Tempo. All right, sorry about that. Here, let me turn that down. That's my disaster relief lady. I'm meeting with her tomorrow with FEMA. I've got this disaster relief lady who is like separate from FEMA. We'll meet with her, and then she and I are going to meet with the some FEMA person. And I don't know what that's for or what's going to come out of that, but it's interesting nonetheless. I'm not sure if I'm going to become homeless in the future, but I've got some interesting good news about that. So the owner of the house I used to live in has given me permission to of course I presumed it, but I needed it to be given that permission. And not only was I given that permission, I was encouraged to do so. I have kind of a protective nature, so he knows, even though there's nothing to protect at the property, so if I need to sleep in my car, I can sleep in my car in his driveway, which is cool. So I won't get hassled. And I have 2 cars, so I can park them both in the driveway. But also, there's always this competition for parking spaces in this local Hawaiian community, right? And so he wants me to park across the street, where he knows the neighbors to the right, both sides built overnight, and one of them built a 7-bedroom house. and he's been given a stop order because he has to have a certain number of parking spaces for that, right? And so, and he doesn't have enough. So, and that's a big concern in the rebuild, is everyone's got to make sure they have enough parking spaces, because people kind of took advantage of that. They had too many rooms built on, too many rentals, and not enough parking spaces. And there's just kind of a mess of cars all over the west side. And so, yeah, that's just interesting, localized drama. But then also, he's like, hey man, go get your weed card, go get your license, and you can grow weed. Start growing weed at my house. Because I think I can legally grow 7 plants, right? And it's just an open lot, so it would just be open. There'd be nothing on the lot except just weed growing. It'd be pretty funny, but interesting. And I said I could camp there. I could set up a tent. So if I needed a permanent place to camp where I wouldn't be hassled, I can camp where I once lived. Their son's getting straight A's in Florida, so they're going to stay there for 2 or 3 years. So they're going to rebuild, and I'll be able to rent there if I need in the future. That's distracting. But yeah, so if there is a big gap where I'm homeless, at least I know I'll someday have a home, and it'll be right where I used to live, with the family that, the friends who are like family to me. Savar, he was in that video I just made. He is a living local legend. He is a waterman like very few. He spent more time steering canoes and canoe paddling the west. He knows this ocean better than 99% of watermen. He's at that age where, and he's super fit. He's still super fit like a young man, but he has 30 years of ocean knowledge right here. And he's paddled the Molokai Channel, steered the Molokai Channel 5 times, and the channel from here to Molokai and from here to Lanai, and the Queen's Race, and all of them, right? And then, yeah, so he and I were Maui County champions in the year 2000. Older I get, better I was. But yeah, I went to this memorial for this guy, Big T, who's also a living legend, and just the strongest guy ever. Every story everyone told about Big T was that they'd go out way ahead of him. He'd say, just go ahead till I can't see you, and then I'll go behind you, and then he catches them, Great guy. And Savar was asked by the wife to spread his ashes along his route in his surf ski. But the memorial service was that same day later, Saturday, and it was just great seeing all these good people, all these old timers. And I talked to some, and I would have gone to practice yesterday or today, but pulling my surfboard off my car, carrying it down to the beach, paddling out, paddling around, coming back, putting it back on, totally made me so sore. My whole low back, it's just in recovery. But then I realized, look, when you're my age, you're like an NFL player, right? You got to be ready to just do everything in pain, or you're never going to do anything, because you're going to be in pain all the time. So I gotta just show up to canoe practice, no matter how much it hurts, just like an NFL player, you know what I mean? And just push through it, But yeah, so hopefully Thursday, I'm gonna be going to my first canoe practice, and that's gonna be life-changing. And with respect to Big T, this living legend, he was in the canoe club I first started paddling with when I first moved here in '98, which was cool. But I hadn't really been around him much for the last 10, 15 years. He met a great lady, had a family. Wasn't even part of any of that. But I met his wife, and that was cool. And apparently she's a singer in a punk band, dude. That's cool. And just a tough, like a jiu-jitsu martial arts black belt or something. I don't know. I forget what my guy said, but yeah, that sounds about right for Big T's wife. So, all right, so that's all that local stuff. And Savar flew back from Florida, where his kid His kid is getting straight A's. He's the best student in his whole school. And he and his wife own the house where I used to rent. They only charge me $800 a month for everything, right? Laundry, power, internet, cable, you name it, all of it, electricity. All right, so what else? So yeah, the mayor of Jersey or Newark. Like, these guys are just trying to push. They're just trying to push the goalposts, you know. And even though they get pushed back a little bit, they just keep just breaking the law first and asking questions later, and then saying, "Oh, the ice sweeps are so sick and twisted." The privilege of these dipshit Republicans. So now they're trying to popularize in the MAGA movement suspending freaking habeas corpus, which is suspending all your rights. Rights that were established before the Mayflower came here. Habeas corpus was an established right of people in civilized places. And this goon, what's that guy? Nesferatu? Nesferatu had a baby with Dr. Evil. And they named their son Stephen Miller, and he is out on a rampage to try to hurt as many people as possible. Like, man, that guy had to be so teased. Pretty sure he's got no hair because he was given so many swirlies, poor guy. Anyway, so yeah, they're trying to make it, and MAGA dipshits are like, oh yeah, now we need us. Whatever you say, yeah, why do we need rights? Just pick us up for nothing. Deport us to Angola if you want to, if we don't say what you want. Oh my God. It is the most frightening shit in the history of our country. 250 years of our country after, it's actually 405 years since my ancestors, my ancestor, William Brewster, wrote the Compact, the first legal document in America, written by someone I'm a direct descendant of. Rumesa Ozturk, back in Boston, held for 6 weeks in a prison for never committing any crimes, for having an opinion, for writing in a school newspaper. My God. Talk about snowflake, weak, meek Republicans who can't even handle someone's opinion. And then now it's just abused, this little thing that the Secretary of State is enabled to do that's never been used in this way. It's just is grossly destroyed by the son of immigrants is torturing immigrants. God, Marco Rubio, small hands, Marco Rubio. You a disgrace to your freaking family, bro. Oh my God. Colombia suspended 65 students for protesting, like having a Second Amendment or the First Amendment right to protest. Yeah, that shouldn't be a reason to get suspended from school. They barred 33 others from ever coming back to the campus, just because they're weak and meek, and they see all this as somehow, as they're buying into this is anti-Semitism. No, it isn't. It's anti-genocide, anti-ethnic cleansing. Like, nobody wants to see ethnic cleansing. It's happening, and it's hard to watch, whether it's in Ukraine or Gaza or and then of course we got this almost war in India and Pakistan, 2 countries that have thermonuclear bombs. Not something we want to see escalate. That just finally de-escalated. Hopefully that continues on that path. Oh God. So here's the thing. These poor students all around the country, students are doing hunger strikes in solidarity with the starving people in Gaza, which is, some of them were violent. Okay. So, all of the cops are violent. And a lot of the people that don't like them are violent, and none of them are being held accountable. But anyway, nevertheless, all of the violence being perpetrated against all of the immigrants every day. I mean, are you seeing what I'm seeing? If you want to talk about violence or or the violence of cops that's now going to be just, it's going to be with impunity. They're taking away all the checks and balances, that even keep our cops from beating the shit out of us. Those cops in Memphis just got acquitted for beating to death someone from a traffic incident. I mean, it's abhorrent. And all the cops now are getting acquitted for killing people. It's brutal. It's brutal. So the PKK, finally, after 40 years of fighting against the Turkish government, 40,000 people dead, they've quit. The Kurdish and the Turkish fighting, I believe. And that is now over, which is interesting. All right. Sort of good news, I think. The white supremacists, the traitors in office, the anti-nationalists, they call themselves Christian nationalists. They're really Luciferian nationalists because they're obviously worshiping the devil. There's no Christianity in the Republican Party. There's no morals. There's no ethics. There's no heart. There's no soul. There are souls as black as my coffee. That is the Republican Party of crime and disorder. Oh, God. And what have they just decided to do? Now that they've decided to give nobody refugee status in the world, especially, if you have brown skin or black skin. Hell no. But the one exception are the 49 white victims in South Africa. South African white people still own the majority of all the land and commerce, right? They are still the extremely wealthy class. They're not suffering, but 49 of them are refugees. And so we got 49 white refugees welcomed in with open arms while we're brutalizing people who are working 60-hour work weeks, putting food on your table, raising a healthy family, devoting themselves to church on Sundays. I mean, and these people we've decided are bad criminals because they just live here, right? We went from, we're going after rapists and murderers to, oh, they live here. They're guilty of working 80-hour work weeks and, being perfect parents and being devoted to each other and their children and their community. Yeah, these people are terrible. Meanwhile, who's doing this to them? Rapists and murderers, Republican thugs, fraudsters. They're going after fraud. Oh, yeah, right. No, fraud, waste, and abuse, Doge, that's just Project 2025. That's the Nazi manifesto being implemented. But we're going to call it fraud, waste, and abuse. It's really Project 2025, the implementation of the Nazi manifesto. Oh, it's so sad. It's so gross. And I can't even believe people even take any of it seriously because it's all fraud. It's all waste. Oh, and somehow they've spent way more than Joe Biden spent at this time last year, and they're taking in a lot less money. So our budget, our deficit that they claim to be worried about is just getting jacked right now. If you really care about that shit, you should be so nervous watching Trump destroy our economy, destroy our future, just putting loads of debt, far more than Biden even came close to. So yeah, more fiscal irresponsibility from these traitors. Man, when Scott Bessent speaks, he sounds so insecure. I mean, I'm sure he's living in this weird, I'm better than you world, and he's just aloof and disconnected from reality. But he still sounds so insecure when he talks. I've just never heard a more insecure sounding man. And that's our Secretary of the Treasury. So was that the bottom of the stock market? That's the question. What did it hit? 36, 37 on one day in intraday? Or do we have a lot of weakness to come from all the supply chain? We haven't even seen the problems that are going to come from the labor market being destroyed. Going after truckers, trying to make all truckers be proficient in English, or saying you can't be a trucker. That was one of the stupid freaking executive orders, right? So attacking truckers like we kind of need those people, right? Attacking the people picking your strawberries, attacking the people milking your cows. It's just a stain on the history of our country. And will our country survive? You know, like, of course, there was the new thesis of Nazi Germany, and then the antithesis, which was the country fighting back and winning, and then there was the new thesis that came out of that, right? That then becomes so let's hope that the new thesis isn't all of us walking around in our red armbands, right, with our red hats on to prove that we are dedicated to our dear leader. Is that what everyone's going to have to do? Have a tattoo or something implanted in your body, or in order to prove allegiance in 1984, which is right now? Anyway, who knows? Oh, of course, Trump and yeah. Oh, God. It's just crazy seeing Dr. Oz, RFK Jr. They're spreading measles like mad. Y'all need to use condoms, all right? If you don't want to get the diseases that are spreading now, because the Republican Party has done everything it can to spread disease worldwide, not just here. 2,000 new AIDS cases a day right now are coming from the withdrawal of USAID, and that's just one of the crazy-ass side effects. That means all the other venereal diseases are spreading too, including the measles. Never seen measles like this ever in our country. It's like nothing anyone's ever seen before. Measles like no one's ever seen before. Have you noticed Trump's hair is now basically, they can't figure out how to make it blonde anymore. It's just turning white. They've done everything they can. They held on to an orangish blonde somehow dye for a long time, but they just, right now it's just turning white. It's kind of interesting. But his orange face is right there, stuck in our, it's almost blackface. If it was just one shade darker, his orange face would be blackface. Oh, and then all the grifts. So the new grift is no tax on tips, right? So this is just a way for rich people to then take advantage of what they're trying to do for waiters, are going to become a loophole that rich people can use, saying that this income or that income was derived in this manner, so therefore it's not taxable, right? Wait till this whole, and it'll probably be a way to drive down your wages below minimum wage, right? Because you're a tipped employee, and since you're not being taxed, they'll say, well, we'll pay you $2 an hour like they do in Florida. Here, you make $14 an hour, right, as a server, busboy, and then you make tips on top of that, and it makes for a good wage. But if you, if they reduce that just to make up for it, so just wait. I'll learn more about that. I'll be able to describe more about the tax on tips scheme, the grift, Republican lie. That's all they do is lie, steal, commit fraud, waste, abuse, do harm, kill people in mass. How many people are going to end up being murdered by the Republican Party and their neglect and insolence and outright bombing of them? Yemen, even though Israel said they'll do all the bombing of the Houthis now on our behalf and take the blame, because they're happy to do it, and we'll give them the bombs, right? We're still killing people, and it's not cool. I don't want that blood on my hands as an American. Wouldn't it be great if we could have confidence and have a clean conscience when we looked up at our government, right? Wouldn't it be great if everyone was a good person, like Jasmine Crockett or AOC or any of the fellas, you know? Those Democrats are the only place where you find good people. Wouldn't it be great if there were two parties full of good people? That'd be amazing, but there's only one. So there is really no equivalence. There is just no equivalence. Anytime anybody tries to make an equivalence between the two parties, I just wish there was. I wish the Republicans were also fighting to protect women's right to vote, and women's health care, and protect children from getting shot from stupid guns flooded all over the streets, and cared about breathing clean air? What if Republicans were like, yeah, we're fighting for clean air and water too? That would make sense. But they don't, because they don't make sense. They don't do anything. They lie to working class people like me. They say they're going to do something, but they never do anything for people. They never do anything for people. So it is what it is. You can never take the pledge. Never vote for Republican again in my life. I promise never to be a traitor, a Confederate who votes for a lying, hypocritical traitor Republican who does harm and crime and takes bribes and gives bribes. That's their whole, you know, what is it? I'm trying to say brand. That's the word, brand. The Republican brand of crime and disorder. Oh man, I love how Australia, because Trump has hurt them, right? He's hurt people all around the world, including us. But as he did that in Canada, you know, he's affected their sentiment towards evil, conservative, right-wing traitors in their own country, right? Oh man, you know what's coming is P. Diddy news. We got a bunch of P. Diddy news, which is gonna have a lot of gross stuff. I don't know what's up with all these weird dudes that want to put their penises in places they shouldn't. It's pretty gross. Why you gotta complicate your life like that? Doesn't make any sense. So that's gonna be interesting, which would have been why, like, I think when P. Diddy decided not to take a plea deal, when he decided to go to court, I think he scared the shit out of a lot of people, because all this process of discovery and the revelation of facts, information, evidence. Speaking of that, how about that disclosure from Pam Bondi that they have thousands? And I just watched the documentary from when they seized all his properties, and all the sex tapes of underage girls with all the powerful people in the world that were sick enough to do that and be friends of his at the New Mexico ranch, at all his other properties. And the New Mexico ranch is a big mystery. Why haven't we ever gotten in there, and, you know, and et cetera. So, yeah, Jeffrey Epstein is this big question mark. Over 10,000 videos, which are all just the stuff he used to control people, right? Was it Mossad? Was it Israeli intelligence? There's questions about that. Who knows? But that is a revelation. And what are they doing with those tapes? Are they destroying them? Are they protecting these people? I thought these were the people that wanted to, you know, expose the Jeffrey Epstein people, even though Trump is all over them, guaranteed, and so on. But who else? So that is a big question. And that's one where some of the Republican dipshits actually act like they care about the truth. And that's the one place they act like they care about it. But yeah, P. Diddy, 1,000 bottles of freaking, baby oil, all those rape parties. That guy that testified that he'd been a sex slave for like 6 months, finally got free of P. Diddy and Cass's and all the conversations he heard. And Nancy Grace is going back to that. So it's going to be interesting, because I suspect there's going to be some new headlines out of the P. Diddy trial. Of course, there's another disaster in a red state, and Republicans aren't going to help those people, because Republicans are cruel and corrupt, and they want to steal all the money, and they don't want to do any work. They don't want government to have, why do work? Let's let the states do everything. We're just going to keep all the money, and somewhere, it's going somewhere. They just fired all these people, closed all these institutions. Why is so much more money being spent? Whose pocket? Where is that being siphoned into? And what about the $1 trillion they want to give to the corrupt Defense Department that never passes audits? Oh my God. Yeah, Republicans suck. They're just straight criminals. Oh, and they're worried about the 5 bathrooms. Who's in the bath? I've never noticed anybody in the bathroom my whole life. I go to the bathroom, I go right to the urinal, I pee, and I go wash my hands and go out of there. I don't ever make eye contact. I don't care who's in the bathroom. No one ever does. And there's all of five trans athletes in the whole country, and that's what out of 520,000. That's what we're worried about. Oh my God! Just imagine being so easily fooled by Republicans, man. Being in that cult. The only question is like, do you remember when you joined the cult? Do you remember that moment when you were watching AON or Fox? Oh, how about that? The AON is going to be one of the official voices of America First network, or no, the Radio Free America. We used to send stuff out. We designed this to fight propaganda, right? Nazi propaganda into places where information was poorly received or there wasn't any, right? A long time ago, maybe after World War II or definitely after Vietnam and whatnot. And now what has it become? It's become the channel of AON, who's doing nothing but putting out Russian propaganda. So now the radio stations that were designed to fight propaganda are now going to spew propaganda, just like a Republican would do. A criminal, abhorrent, freaking person void of a soul, any morals or ethics, and who's just gargling the nuts of the Russians, these Russian asset Republicans, and the stupid people that follow that shit. It's unbelievable. Unbelievable. There's no excuse. There's no excuse. So I'm going to start trying to do interviews. I've been getting out a little, right? Everywhere at this memorial service. I've been asking everybody if I can do a long interview with them, hang out, and people are saying yes, but I still don't get out of my house much, so I haven't been doing enough of it. It hasn't really started yet, but I thought, with the boys, Savar and Spud, that would be fun. We were at a friend's house where we could smoke and drink on camera, different than this FEMA housing where that can't happen here, and so that was kind of funny. And it's funny, I was just thinking like that, whatever it is, 10 years from now, we're all going to look back and go, oh man, we used to look so young. Look at us 10 years ago. Or isn't that, and so, but yeah, that gave a good taste of real life. that was real life here on the West Side. And then, the guy came home, Wyatt. He's a good guy. Everybody loves that guy. He's like the town mayor. And that guy has this reputation for being so philanthropic, so kind to others, helping people out all the time in different ways, in any way he can. Pretty cool little community I got here. My homeboys looking out for each other. How about that girl? Oh man, that horrible ICE detention, those white supremacists pretending to be freaking government agents. Throwing that 16-year-old girl on the ground, kidnapping a 2-year-old girl, putting a woman in prison for being a mom, a hard-working, good citizen in her community. These aren't criminals we're rounding up. They just have a quota to fill. I bet they're getting paid for fulfilling the quota of 1,200 people a day, which, puts it close to 500,000 a year, so that in 4 years they can say, oh, we forcefully detained and forced out into torture camps or death in their countries. 2 million people are going to suffer and die or be separated from their children and family and their jobs and their communities where they are invested, often for decades. Oh, really? I mean, these immigrants are some of the best people, the most church-going, hard-working family people you'll ever know. Far more than most of my white friends. I tell you what, white people like to kick their kids out at 18. Immigrants are like, no, we love you kids. You want to stay home and raise your kids here? That's cool. We just love having family around because we love family because, we support each other and we show up to each other's football and basketball games and swim meets, and you know what I mean? Like, these are supportive, good people, good family people. People I wish I could be more like, or I want to be more like. I wish I had those kinds of families. I wish I had, People that want to build everything they can and then pass it down to their kids instead of like giving it to Trump instead. How many people are losing all their generational wealth to the ripoffs of Trump? How about that? That meme coin of his, 58 of his wealthy friends made millions of dollars. 764 of his snowflake victim Republican dipshits lost money. 764,000 dipshit Republicans lost money investing in his meme coin. Oh, what a con artist. And he and his wealthy friends just ripping people off in public, and then them stupid enough to still say, yeah, I'll vote for him. I know I can trust him because he's racist like me. You know, and he says I'm racist. I'm like, I'm just like you. Thanks for being honest. Oh, God. Now, I know I can be honest, too. Like that woman who called that black kid the N-word over and over, Nigger, over and over, and then got $1 million to her GoFundMe from racist pigs. That's what's amazing, is how much racist pig money is thrown around. From the Russians, maybe the Chinese, billionaire Harlan Crow guys, all the sickos that are putting money all into the Federalist Society, into all the evil, the Ziklag group, evil, gross Nazi traitor money. Why isn't there that kind of money out there to fight for democracy and to fight for the Constitution? Like, where are those heroes? Why aren't there more billionaires fighting for democracy than there are fighting to destroy our country? I don't get it. And nor does anybody, with a heart, a mind, a soul, a conscience. And there's even more bad news that's piling up right now while I'm doing this. 56 minutes. We're doing pretty good. You know what I mean? Oh, man. Cheers to you, everybody. Cheers. I'm sorry the news is so shitty all the time. I'm pretty sure for the next 4 years, unless we all get killed in a nuclear catastrophe, I think it's going to suck. I think that protest, the one reason I would want to fly somewhere to do something will be to go be part of the 20 to 1, I bet. There'll be more people in Washington not wanting to see a military parade than there are wanting to see a military parade. And I believe it'll be 20 to 1. It'll be the biggest protest in American history, because it needs to be. Because this is our only chance to try to get our country back. Even though they have all the levers of power and control, they're locking up anyone and everyone they want to. They're causing harm. They're killing people. They have no conscience, no morals, no ethics. They're just abject, violent criminals just hurting people at the expense of the Constitution, at the expense of American history, at the expense of all of our rights and our peace of mind. I mean, I'm having nightmares about getting, my door knocked down by a bunch of white supremacist thugs from frickin' Vidor, Texas, that were hired to go be racists on behalf of the American government. And you can just see the love in their hate-filled eyes. These sickos in there, freaking heavily armed, going to pick up a woman. Like, really? 20 guys barging into people's houses who aren't even who they're looking for in the middle of the night, terrorizing them, stealing their life savings, stealing all their electronic equipment. Imagine that happening to you. Right? That's what empathy looks like. When you imagine that happening to you, right? And you imagine it, the harms being done against the Constitution are being done to yourself. That's when empathy is a strength. It's not a weakness, right? And when you see others as yourself, to hurt them is to hurt you, and then you can't hurt them because you have empathy, because you see hurting them is the same as hurting you. And any person with a heart and a soul doesn't want to do that. And anyone who might want to make the world a better place doesn't want to do that. Sees the simplicity and the logic in that, right? But no, sick, white supremacists, Nazi Republicans see strength or empathy as a weakness, right? Ignorance is a strength in their world. War is peace, right? Freedom is slavery. If we could just be enslaved, then we'll be free. That's what they want us to think and do. And they're doing that to us. They're wiping away history. They're trying to destroy education, trying to change it, trying to make it a way to further Nazi Russian propaganda. It's brutal, gnarly. What the hell's going on? Anyway, I'm going to continue to watch all of the news and report all of it back to you because it's therapy. It's like taking in evil and exercising it like an exorcism. And it keeps me informed, you know. Should I get into politics someday, on the back of this channel, you know, no one will be able to say that guy's not informed, right? But yeah, there is also 60 hours of other bad news that is just still circulating. All the crime and harm that they've already been perpetrating and all those stories that I've already reported on continue to tumble through the wash. And it's all bad. It's all god-awful news. My goodness. And now they're totally weaponizing Skynet. They're weaponizing government and computers and technology against us. Surveillance state, flock surveillance, reading your license plates, recording every place you go, all the time, creating a dossier on all your movements through the community. And then we got the Real ID, which is a way to nationally control fingerprints, biometrics, all that shit. And then the control of all of our information. The lie that there was ever any efficiency being obtained. That we had efficiency people it's called the Oversight Committee. They're the ones that are the efficiency people. And then we have inspector generals. Oh, except they all got fired. And you put Marjorie Taylor Greene and dipshits in the Oversight Committee, or whoever's in there. It's all controlled by dipshit Republicans who are just, it's amazing how they're just crapping on the Constitution. They're willingly destroying the Constitution because they're afraid of Trump supporters and the threats that these traitors bring, right? Meek, weak incels in their basement making threats to people. Yeah, that's who they're afraid of. Meanwhile, they're not afraid of the people who are pissed off about them destroying the Constitution. Like, I feel like it seems like maybe there'll be a moment where it seems more dangerous to be against America, against the Constitution, than it is to be for the traitor-in-chief. You know what I mean? Like, doesn't it seem like should be worse? Like, shouldn't you be more worried about the people seeing you, watching you publicly trounce on the Constitution? Hurting people. Thank God Kyle Kalinske and others are starting to say these people need to be locked up. They're obviously committing crimes. We have all this film of these federal agents who are violating their oath to the Constitution, quite obviously, and should all be locked up, just like the Nazi soldiers that sent people off to concentration camps. They weren't spared, right? You're complicit. You don't have to follow those orders. But, of course, they're getting hired because they're white supremacist traitors, right? Right out of Eastern Texas and any of the most racist places they can. That's where they're going to hire these people. And that's going to be part of the questionnaire. Are you loyal to Donald Trump? Yes. Which means yes. That's like saying I'm racist. And then they're going, okay, we'll hire you. Okay, don't worry about your criminal past, right? You know there's far more criminal past in the boot thugs, the brown shirts that are freaking locking people up than there are in any of the people that they're catching and locking up. Anyway, love you guys. I haven't been able to see. Hey, Michelle, aloha. And aloha from Russia. Yeah, I can see that. Those are Russian words. You guys have interesting. John Sipple, love you, bro. Yeah, I think this stock market, I don't get it. Like, it just seems like it needs to just drop to 35,000 and then create a new trading range and then hopefully work forward. But it don't belong where it's at. I don't have any confidence. But it's interesting how Trump's friends, all these billionaires, they know the news before it's going to happen. So they're trading all these things. Every time there's going to be a little bit of good news, that is just the absence of bad news. But in this case, a capitulation, a deal with China, 10, 30%. Okay, bam, bing, 1,000 points up, right? But all his friends knew that before he said that, and they're trading the shit out of this. So that just puts more money in there, driving it up more for them to go then back out. And they're doing what I do not do that. That's how guys like me lose money, thinking I'm as smart as the guys with the inside knowledge. And guys like me just get slaughtered on the back end of those things. So I don't try to trade. I just try to put together a smart portfolio and watch dividends come in, and then keep a lot of it most of it in cash, because I can't trust these people running things. Yeah, and what are the effects? What are the effects of the military parade? Martial law now. We have martial law in effect. They've done everything they can to take away habeas corpus, which is martial law, although without the curfews. I wonder if we'll have curfews under this administration, or how long it'll take for them to get around to that. And won't that be how they get rid of the next election, right? They'll say, oh, we got a national emergency. We got too many people protesting against our Nazi regime, so we got to call a national emergency, suspend habeas corpus, and oh, sorry, we can't do an election. Is that how they're going to steal the next election? Because that's coming right up, yeah. Boy, on that note, our mayor now makes $245,000 a year. Just got a $100,000 boost in income. And while I was thinking, like, if I got into politics, wouldn't it be fun to try to become like a senator or a House of Representatives person or governor or whatever, right? That'd be really cool. But being a mayor of Maui pays more than all those jobs. Senators make less. They make $175, I'm pretty sure, $172.5, something like that. Our governor makes less. Like, that's life-changing money for me, being a poor, freaking blue-collar worker my whole life. Oh my God. So yeah, I'm tempted. If I could succeed locally in comedy, get this channel to grow like a lot more, like, I would be afraid of none of that. And that would be so cool to make freaking over $20,000 a month as working your ass off to figure out how to make life better for all the blue collar, hardworking people in Maui, all the local people, all the multi-generational people here. I mean, that would just be great. My only question every day would be, how much power do I have, and how much can I do for our working class and the people that make this island great? Anyway, and but a lot of good work's been done before. Right now, like past mayors we have public pools that are free, open everywhere, Olympic size, like the greatest community facility you could ever dream of. I could be swimming laps there right now. Probably should be. Anyway. Oh man, so much going on. I got my blue trucker's hat, my Eat More Vagina. This is from a restaurant called Moku Roots. I used to like joke around that Moku Roots was the only zero waste restaurant in the state of Hawaii. Imagine a restaurant that's zero waste. Like, that's just an achievement. And God bless them. Anyway, I was pretty loyal to that place, and I used to like joke around because, don't have a woman in my life. I'd say this place is the closest thing I have to a girlfriend, I try to come there all the time, eat as much vagina as I can. Anyway, that's a joke I can't do anywhere else but there, and they don't exist. So I was always hoping to do a little bit of comedy there and tell that joke there, but I can't. Anyway, gotta love this merchandise. After the fire, they were going out of business. They had to go out of business sale. All their merchandise was half off, so I got shirts and hats, because I needed clothes. Didn't have any clothes. So I got my blue trucker set. I got another one in red, but I don't really like wearing red. The color red has been corrupted. So sad. We got to get the color red back. It's gotta mean something other than being a Nazi traitor, an insurrectionist derelict. Oh yeah, making America safe, letting out 1,500 insurrectionist, violent criminals. Giving them jobs, rounding up brown-skinned people and deporting them. Oh, it's frightening what they're doing. Just pulling people over because they're brown-skinned on the freeways with the help of the Highway Patrol in Tennessee. Oh my God, 588 pullovers of brown-skinned people. Just racial profiling on display for all of us Americans to see. And that makes real Americans sick. Oh, anyway. Yeah, Barron Trump. Oh, him and his friend, the Rape Tate brothers. That's why the Rape Tate brothers were brought out of prison for rape, abuse of underage girls, and a whole host of other crimes. They got released from prison in Europe and brought to America, set free, because Barron Trump likes those guys, looks up to them. Got these sick-ass Republicans thinking, oh, Barron Trump is the future. Yeah, that's going to be real good, ladies. Ladies, we need you to get together, right? This last election can never happen again. Women need to get together and take America back. You are the one group of people that if you could just vote to protect your own rights, vote to stop this attack on you, right? Work together to stop the attack on you from Republicans and save us all. You are more than 50% of the electorate. More than 50% of you have more women than men have college degrees. More women than men vote. You guys are the force that could be reckoned with if you could just unify like black women. 92% of black women had an IQ above Republican and didn't vote for the traitor. Only 47% of white women were that smart, right? We need to raise that number, white ladies. We need to get it from 47 to 92%. White ladies need to be as smart as black ladies, or at least conduct themselves in that manner, as if they were. Maybe they are. We'll find out if they ever vote to protect their own rights. Drives me nuts. Anyway, not to mention the immigrants that voted to hurt themselves, or the black guys that voted to have the African American history destroyed and wiped clean, and the government workers that voted to have the rug pulled out from under them, the veterans that voted to have the rug pulled out, the Social Security recipients that voted to have the rug pulled out from under them. I mean, what were these people thinking? We just pray that if we have elections in the future, that these people will show up and be advocates for themselves. The farmers that voted to destroy their farms and lose their employees, and the dairies that voted to get their employees sent off to prison for working 60 hours a week, milking their cows. Oh my God, let's just pray. Let's pray there's hope, that these town squares are reflective of reality, and that they haven't completely figured out how to butcher and control and manipulate and subvert elections, which, I mean, they've got their claws in there already, doing all the harm they can. Yeah, John. Thanks for watching, brother. All right, I got to go do errands. Got to get my life back on track. Got to get this channel starting to get more views than ever before. It's kind of wild and crazy and interesting and exciting. I'm not sure if it's the cartoon, if it's the angle, if it's the accumulation of 50 episodes at this point, and the algorithms are finally starting to figure out, because they, I think they're always trying to figure out what's going on, who's doing what, and they look for patterns, and I don't give them patterns. So, yeah, life is good. Life is good. Love you guys. If you don't want to screw up your life, you want to have a good life, start by eating right, sleeping well, and exercising, right? Say, play offense, right? Spend less than you earn, if you can. And then if you want to play defense and not screw your life up, have a great life, don't gamble. A lot of people kill themselves because they were gambling. So, play the odds in your favor. Don't gamble. If you don't have a gun at home, you're 5 times less likely to die from a gun. If you don't snort anything, you'll never die from snorting something. People die from snorting shit. Don't snort anything. Don't take pills. Pills kill people sometimes. If you don't take pills, you won't die from taking pills. If you know a violent person, don't think you're safe around them. If you know a violent person, punish them by never spending time around them ever again. And you ladies, don't think that guy that's violent ain't going to turn on you someday. Every violent person who brags about beating somebody up is going to be violent around you. Don't get drunk with them. They'll beat the shit out of you eventually. That happened to me once, all right? So avoid violent people. And then there's the wrong relationships. Stay away from the wrong relationships. I know 2 guys killed themselves. Gosh, one guy, Kevin, was so great. Oh, such a good guy. Yeah, got affected by a woman, fell in love, married her. She dumped him, bailed on him, killed himself. So, wrong relationships will kill you. So stay away from the wrong relationships. And getting drunk can kill you. But most importantly, don't drive drunk if you do get drunk, and that can kill you too. If you can avoid not fucking your life up with all those things, and you can eat right, exercise, sleep plenty, you're probably gonna have a really good life, right? Or at least your odds are gonna be their best. And that's all you can do. Play the odds to have a great life. You know what I mean? We all want to have a good life. We all want to live as long as possible. I recommend you vote for the environment. That's maybe another good move. I feel sorry for the people that suffer extra, who live in all the states that suffer from the weather that they voted for the last 40 years. Denying climate change. Can you imagine being so stupid you deny climate change? That's just beautiful, pure ignorance on display. Meanwhile, right here, I got this dipshit down here, lady, saying, oh, we're all gonna die anyway. It's just what's always happened. Whatever. Yeah, now that's what they say after freaking, yeah, anyway. All right. And that is all my worldly advice. All right. Thanks for watching my channel. I appreciate y'all. Big time aloha. Do no harm, do no crime. Thanks for watching All Good Things and All Good Time. Until episode 51. Or whatever videos I make in between now and then as well. All right. Love you guys. Hi. Talk to you soon.